During the 2015-2016 school year, we began a process with demographic studies, capacity studies, series of presentations, an analysis of our facilities and working with our architects, as well as working with district administration and staff for feedback on areas around the district that needed some improvements. So we looked at the referendum in three real areas. One was expansion for the purpose of future capacity for some of the changes that were coming into the community with residential growth. Second was looking at areas that needed renovation, whether it was heating, ventilation, air conditioning, whether it was culinary arts, whether it was looking at our libraries, or some of our auditoriums. And then the third area was around safety and security. So we really looked at it from three prongs. Then working with our architects and working with bond counsel, we looked at our debt capacity, we looked at expiring debt, we looked at capital reserves, and then we put a program together that was respectful to residents with respect to tax impact, at the same time addressed capacity needs for the future as well as needs for today's students. And then over the last now 5 years, we've been working to implement that referendum. And there's been a series of projects that have been completed, a series of projects that are in motion, and then a series of projects that are to come. With respect to referendums, when you go through that process, that requires a community vote, going to the taxpayers because you're asking for a tax authority above and beyond the 2%. And there's certain reasons for a referendum. One is if you want to adjust your tax base, and the second is if you're looking to do some kind of capital project. So for the district, we obviously were looking at this from a capital project, from a capacity. So we put together a plan for communication, a series of presentations through the PTAs, PTSAs, out into the community, as well as we had videos at the time that were up on our website, an information campaign to inform the community about the types of facilities that were available. There was tremendous growth in science classrooms, lab-based spaces. There was libraries, security vestibules. We redid 2 theaters. We had the opportunity to build 2 dance studios. We're working on culinary arts, all the libraries, 9 of the libraries across the district have had renovations. Then we put on 5 additions as well onto schools. So the referendum was comprehensive, and to do that, we also looked at making sure that all of our schools had some form of positive impact in the referendum, and that students throughout their experience were going to be positively benefited, whether they were, if they were in Village at the time, they might not see changes in the actual completion until upper middle school or high school. So the vote today could impact, a vote back in 2018 could impact them as high schoolers, and we're seeing that exactly right now. We also had the opportunity to do tours back in, I believe it was December, where we opened up our spaces on a Saturday to the schools that are complete, into spaces that were completed, to allow community members. And obviously some of the work had been completed during the referendum, but this really was a first opportunity to open our doors as we've moved through some of the high points of the COVID pandemic. So when we think about our schools and we think about the completion of what projects have been done, I think it's important to take a slight pause and just remember that there was 3 schools that had expansions pre-referendum. And for Plainsboro, that was Town Center in particular. So we had the Town Center expansion, which brought 6 additional classrooms to Town Center. We also had an expansion at Maurice Hawk Elementary School, which was approximately 16 classrooms. And we did have expansion at Village Elementary School, which brought forward 6 classrooms, as well as the Board of Education offices. That was all complete 2015 at Village, about 2018, right at the beginning of the referendum process, 2018-2019 school year for Maurice Hawk, and Town Center was right about the 2019-2020 school year. So we had those expansions. As the referendum then was also being built and went out to vote, now we have seen expansions to 5 schools. Grover has been completed, High School South has been completed, Community Middle School has been completed. We are currently working on Wyckoff's expansion, which brings forward 4 additional kindergarten classrooms, as well as new main office, child study team spaces, guidance spaces. We only had 1 student bathroom in that building for hallway bathrooms, so we've added additional bathroom capacity. It redoes the library space at Wyckoff. And then there's heating, ventilation, air conditioning at Wyckoff. Also brings in a generator project to Wyckoff, and then the new security vestibule and parking lot work. So the main entrance will actually change at Wyckoff when that project's complete. So there's a lot of work happening. And then the fifth area of expansion is a dance studio addition at High School North, and that has been completed as well. With the construction renovation projects, we are at there's some checklist items in some of the bigger buildings that have been completed. So community is built, we have a certificate of occupancy, there are some punch list items remaining. High School North, dance studio completed, implemented, and the Wyckoff project itself is underway. So Wyckoff is in two phases. Phase one is complete. Phase one was the additional music classroom, new OT-PT space, occupational therapy, physical therapy, 4 additional kindergarten classrooms, new main office spaces, which is in phase 2, guidance space and child study team space, revisions to the library. Revisions to the library phase 2 are underway. The new main office underway. New main entrance is framed and is currently under works. The growth music classroom is one, because we wanted additional spaces, but 2, the existing music space became the new main entrance, right? So, and then the back, what was the back area of the building by the kitchen will now be where the main entrance is, where we'll have a new parking lot that goes in as part of phase 2. So that work is all underway. And there's a third component with a different contractor, which is the heating, ventilation, air conditioning upgrades to Wyckoff, which is an extensive project. And that is also underway this summer. So we have 2 different contractors on site. That work will take the better part of the 23-24 school year. And we're hoping that by the time we complete next school year, we'll be wrapped up with the phase 2 as well as the HVAC work. Some of the challenges with a project like that is the lead times. What we've seen with the pandemic and some of the national and international shortages is some of the heating, ventilation compressors and some of the rooftop units. You can have all the work done but be missing the part that you need to connect the whole project to work. So there's definitely some challenges along the way. Most of it's based on supply chain, which makes sense. But we are very actively underway at Wyckoff. It's our most active construction project right now. Other active construction in the Plainsboro side is over at High School North, where we have the library renovations underway at High School North, as well as our culinary arts lab underway. And while those 2 projects may seem disconnected, there's a lot of things that get connected through the ceiling, as you have a lot of the same, based on the location of culinary arts, it actually have a lot of the connections through the ceiling of the library. So those are very much connected based on the gas lines and the HVAC systems and whatnot. So that's underway. But High School North had a major HVAC renovation upgrade, so the heating, ventilation, air conditioning at High School North. High School North also had the security vestibule upgrade that was completed. So High School North's major project was the HVAC as well as the boiler projects at High School North. Across the street at Millstone River, they also had a major renovation to the HVAC system there, as well as security vestibule. And we're proud to open up just right at the end of the year the new revised library and the new entranceway to that library. So our students next year will be able to fully access and function in the new library space there. And here we are at Community Middle School, located in the brand new renovated library as we're filming this segment for the community. So as we're completing our referendum projects, we're really in the final phase. We have 3 remaining projects that were just bid out. 3 remaining projects are the library at Town Center, the library at Village Elementary School, and the library at Maurice Hawk Elementary School. Just last night at the June 27th board meeting, we were able to award those 3 projects, and we'll be mobilizing throughout the summer. And by the end of the summer, we anticipate we'll have contractors on site at Town Center Elementary School. On the West Windsor side, the Village project and the Maurice Hawk project will start in the new year in January of 2024. Just a little bit more lead time and permitting work that needs to be done over on that side of town. And we expect that we'll have those projects wrapped up in time to start the 24-25 school year. So, really excited to be at the final phase of the referendum projects. So we expect by the end of summer 24 to be able to be wrapping the referendum up and be at final punch list items when we start the school year for the 24-25 school year. So as we're coming to conclusion in the next 12 months plus of referendum work, and we reflect back on the work, we're really proud that we brought the referendum forward. We were able to garnish the support of the community with a 60% support vote, and that the community saw the vision of what's to come with the residential growth. Now, there's no doubt that the pandemic and some of the geopolitical climate on immigration policy in the last 5 years or so has hedged the number of residents that came short term. But we still predict that as these projects come to completion, and when I talk about the projects, I'm not talking about the referendum, but the residential growth that the community can very much see within West Windsor primarily, that sends into both West Windsor and Plainsboro schools, that the growth will come. It's just a bit delayed. And the pandemic sort of caused a pause on some of the residential growth and some of the immigration numbers coming in. And we've seen a hit with respect to our kindergarten numbers over the last 3-4 years. As we've had higher graduating classes leave and lower kindergarten numbers come in, we have seen our enrollment decrease by a couple hundred students. But that being said, just meeting with West Windsor Township a week ago, we're still predicting a residential growth of 7,500 residents. So if West Windsor alone predicts that, what percentage of that 7,500 is going to be school-age children? If it's 20%, we're still talking 1,500 children across our grade spans. So if we're going to see that kind of growth, let alone whatever could happen in Plainsboro, and we do anticipate some residential growth on the Plainsboro side as well, we do feel that we're right now in a good position because we're ahead of the residential growth, and we should be able to head off overcrowding down the road because we'll have the future capacity. In the meantime, the children of our community today are going to benefit from beautiful theaters, beautiful libraries, incredible classroom spaces, beautiful science labs. And again, we're really proud to be able to bring that forward to the community. And we were able to do it in a way that didn't have a negative impact on the tax base, and we were able to stay flat without asking for additional capital dollars from the residents, because right now we're able to cover that through our capital reserve as well as our general fund, and we have not had to ask above to collect debt capacity from our community. So we've really worked to sort of manage our budget respectfully over time so that we were able to do this without creating an additional tax increase.